Believe it or not, guys, we have got ourselves an ally in the Northern Hemisphere. That's right, for once, someone up there is not finding fault with everything the Springboks do. And today, you are going to get a front row seat as to what was said and why I think this represents potentially a special relationship for the Springboks going forward. And you know who's going to really like what is being said here? Damian Willemse, that's who. You can get your hands on a Damian bobblehead figurine for free if you visit the Scoin shop and make a purchase. South Africa's leading gold coin and bullion retailer, specializing in Krugerrands, rare coins and numismatics. Just like the Springboks, the Scoin shop is all about world-class quality and heritage. These coins are test match quality, worthy of back-to-back world champions. So why stop at Damian? Collect the whole gang and build your winning team. The Scoin shop has stores nationwide. Okay, so let's get to it then. What was actually said here? Who has given us credit? French national team coach Fabien Galthie, that's who. Now let me tell you guys, I have never really had a problem with the French. I think from a South African point of view, there's rivalry and indeed niggle with the likes of Australia, New Zealand and England. And you can perhaps expand that to the British and Irish Lions. And these days, you would add Ireland to that list. But I don't think we've ever really had a problem with teams like Argentina, Wales, Scotland, France or Italy. Any of the teams that have beaten us over the years, including Japan, have generally been very good-natured about it. And yes, there's always the odd fan here and there that spoils it for the rest. But for me, generally speaking, overall, I have never really had a problem with those nations, including the French. Now, I know post-1995, especially after that World Cup semi-final, there were some French fans who were very unhappy about what happened in Durban. There were also many unhappy French fans after the 2023 Rugby World Cup quarter-final. And some ugly things were said here and there. And I understand that in the heat of the moment, people get emotional and they might say things that maybe they don't mean, maybe it's a little bit over the top. But again, as I say, generally speaking, overall, I've never really had a problem with the French. And to be very honest with you, in the Six Nations, if you ask me who I, support, the answer would actually be France. As a South African, as a Springbok fan, I simply cannot bring myself to ever supporting England. And if you are English, you kind of know that pretty much the rest of the world doesn't like you. But you know what? Let me just say something. I've actually got a lot of friends who are from England and they are lovely, lovely people. So what I'm saying here is within context, it's relative, and it should be kept to within a sporting bubble. And I hope that you'll understand here. Lately, South Africa and the Irish have had a little bit of niggle as well. And that's come with Ireland's success against the Springboks in the last few years. Again, Australia, New Zealand, it's always been there. But just back to the point on the Six Nations. I can't bring myself to supporting England. A lot of South Africans will support Ireland because they have Irish heritage. The same applies to Scotland. Wales, in many cases, there's always been a soft spot for them. I think a lot of people just love Land of Our Fathers, and just because of the passion that the Welsh fans bring to the stadium, just purely with singing their national anthem, that's enough to get young South African boys to hop on board the Wales train. Italy, obviously the perennial underdogs in the Six Nations, but you know what? There are a lot of South Africans of Italian descent, and so they might naturally side with the Azzurri.
Liner bounces off one, bounces off two, but grounds the ball.
But then, as I say, my heritage, I don't have any British, Italian or French in me, at least not that I know of. And so I'm quite neutral here in that regard. And I've always quite enjoyed France. Les Bleus over the years have been known for their passion. They've been known for their love of running rugby, champagne rugby, as many of them call it. And I even recall back in the day when Fabien Galthie was one of the players in the team. He was even the captain of the national side at one stage. And growing up, I remember France coming to South Africa in 1993 with some magnificent rugby players. Olivier Roumaud, Laurent Caban, who, by the way, if you've watched my videos regularly, you will know that Caban is my favorite France player of all time. Abdelatif Benazi was another magnificent player. Thierry Lacroix, Philippe Saint-André. I could go on and on and on. Philippe Sella. They were fantastic players. And not just in 1993. You just keep going. Thomas Castagnier. It just goes on. It goes on and on and on. And if I keep going, I will never actually stop. That's how many wonderful rugby players France have produced. But as I say, just in the last while, especially post 2023, there was this niggle. Again, not everybody, but from certain sections, and they were saying things like, we stole the Rugby World Cup quarterfinal from them. They were saying things like Cheslin Colby's run to charge down Thomas Ramos's conversion was illegal. There were allegations against Eben Etzebeth. A ball that anyone with eyes could see was not a knock-on, but according to these one-eyed supporters, it was a knock-on. And there were a couple of other things as well that they complained about. And you know what? On Saturday, the match was billed as revenge. This was going to be the day that France proved to the whole world that what happened in 2023 was wrong. They were going to show everybody that they were the better side.
That penalty advantage, Fiku, the long pass, Thomas Ramos, he's got men out wide, it's Pinot once more.
But in the end, South Africa ran out winners 32 points to 17, even though they were behind 14-6 and even 17-13 at one stage. And you know what? Their coach, Fabien Galthie, has come out and he has given South Africa praise. Let's have a look at what he said. Around the 60th minute, we had 3 clear chances where we should have scored. After that, they won penalties in midfield, pushed into our half, and attacked hard with great efficiency. Their second halves are always powerful and effective. They still have the same strengths, but they've developed them. We prepare to win, but we also have to accept defeat. It's a great team, but our players worked hard. I very much appreciate those words from the French coach. And you know what? The way I see it is Galthie is somebody who is not only a student of the game, he's also an excellent coach. You don't win the Six Nations tournament and almost beat South Africa in the Rugby World Cup quarterfinal, as well as actually beating the All Blacks on several occasions if you don't know what you're doing. One thing I've noticed is that Galthie is an admirer of Springbok rugby, and indeed our coach, Dr. Rassie Erasmus. For example, as you know, Rassie popularized the 6-2 bomb squad split back in 2019 during that World Cup. In the last few years, we've seen other teams adopt 6-2 splits as well. Galthie notably being one of the practitioners of this 6-2 split. Now, that doesn't mean that he is a copycat. It doesn't mean that he's not sure what he should do and therefore he's going to look what other people are doing. No. That's called intelligence. When you, no matter what field you're in, whether you're a coach, whether you're a rugby player, whether you're a sportsman, whether you're in business, whether you're a student, whatever the case may be, you look to what other people are doing who have either set a trend or the blueprint, and then you kind of go with that. That is what is known as intelligence. That's how you get ahead, because there's a reason that certain things are done in a certain way and they work and they bring success. And so it would be foolish of you to think necessarily that, oh, we'll just do it a different way. Indeed, there are geniuses that exist. For example, nobody else was doing 6-2 when Rassie came along with that split. And I know that Eddie Jones was actually the first one to do it with England back in 2016, but it didn't create this hoopla that it did when Rassie did it. And therefore, Rassie is the one that is typically credited with the 6-2 split. And yes, you can be a genius and come up with innovations, but most other people don't fall into that category. Now, I'm not saying that Galthie is not going to come up with some or other genius move, because France could yet still go on and win the 2027 Rugby World Cup in Australia. In fact, I don't think anybody would argue with me when I say that France are the best team in the world that has not yet won the Rugby World Cup. I know some people in Ireland and maybe Argentina will complain about what I just said, but they've been to 3 Rugby World Cup finals. And okay, 87, they were blown off the park. 99, they were horribly outplayed, but 2011, as far as I'm concerned, they should have won that match. And look, that's a separate video, but Ireland, they've never been past the quarterfinals. Argentina have been to the semi-finals a few times. They've also finished 3rd on one occasion, interestingly enough, in France, and they beat the French to get that bronze medal. And they are knocking on the door. They're getting closer every year. So eventually, I think Los Pumas will win the World Cup too. But I think France are the next team that are most likely to win the Rugby World Cup for the first time. Just on what Galthie was saying there, praising South Africa's efficiency and our ability in the second half of matches. It's quite remarkable, isn't it? And in a way, it's always been the South African way, in that we grind you down over 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, and then we finish you off in the last 20. And then maybe the final score will be something like 20-15 or 25-21. But now what is happening is, because we've added that little string to our bow, courtesy of our attack coach, Tony Brown, and the magician-like abilities of men like Marnie Lebok and Sasha Feinberg and Gourmet Zulu, not forgetting what Damian Willemse did in Wellington against the All Blacks. Because we now have that going on, and I think I should throw Kobus Reinach into this mix as well, actually, right? Because we've now got that going on, you are seeing that we're no longer winning matches by 5 points or 8 points. We're winning by 10, by 15. We're winning 32-17 against France in Paris at the Stade de France. We're winning 43-10 in Wellington against the All Blacks. What an exciting time to be a Springbok supporter. And as I say again, full credit to Fabien Galthie for not only acknowledging it, but to come out and be willing to say, well done Springboks, congratulations, you were the better team. But what do you guys think? Do you agree that now is the time to be a Springbok fan, and this efficiency that we now have, this ruthless streak that we've developed, is something that should be sending shockwaves to all of our opponents, making them wonder, when exactly are they ever going to beat us again? Or do you think that the Springboks have been riding a little bit of luck, and often what we see in international sport is that when an athlete becomes a little bit older, there tends to be a little bit of guile and a little bit of luck that comes with it. And as we all know, the Springboks, especially our pack, most of them are on the wrong side of 30 and even 32 in many instances. Let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, why not help me out with a super thanks? That's the heart button with a $sign inside of it. You'll be able to make a highlighted comment on my channel. I promise to reply to it. I'll also hit the love button, and you can make a small donation to my channel as well. It's whatever you want it to be. It can be $1, that's about 17 Rand these days, or it could be $100 million. So if you used to work at Eskom and they gave you a lekker bonus when you left, then you can go for the latter option, I think. The reason I'm asking for your help is because I would love to do this full time, and I would also love to go to Australia in 2027, where France may very well end up winning that tournament, and cover it for you from down under with daily coverage. If you're not yet ready to support me in that manner, you can also just spear tackle the like button, and you can also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And Siya Kolisi, Captain Fantastic, ran out for his 100th Springbok Test match cap against the French at the Stade de France on Saturday. Beforehand, I put together a little tribute video to our wonderful captain. You can go and check that out here if you haven't already seen it. And speaking of the Rugby World Cup, in this video over here, I count down the top 10 Rugby World Cup moments of all time. And you just know that France are in there, and they may very well be right at the top. Click on one of them, enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.